Well, this week just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? On the screen you see this picture. For the benefit of all of you, I'm going to blow it up. This has been signed by 160 of the finest cringe lords, or we like to call them parliamentarians, or members of parliament. Yeah, that's right. After Jeremy Corbyn called a little mothers' meeting, like I discussed in yesterday's video, 160 MPs have signed that. A quarter of MPs have signed it. The cringe lords have signed it because they will fight. They will fight on the beaches, on the shores, at the back of the bus when they're licking the windows, to prevent no deal. And of course, this has gotten a bit tasty, because after mentioning I thought Boris Johnson might prorogue Parliament, he did, and he has. He's even got the Queen's approval. This has gotten so bad, Jeremy Corbyn has been interviewed a number of times. He even admitted he sent a letter to the Queen asking her not to allow it, which, by the way, she can do. Now, if you think that Boris Johnson is not proroguing Parliament to prevent a democratic process or to prevent people from debating or introducing bills and laws to prevent no deal, you are naive. He is obviously doing it for that. But he is also doing it because there is parliamentary procedure. But also, he's not actually proroguing Parliament for as long as people think. You see, it seems like he's proroguing it for 5 weeks. Actually, he's not. Parliament doesn't go back in for 3 weeks. He's only doing it for 2. This is important because it's only those 14 days. Which, of course, is still a bad thing because it means Parliament then cannot debate, enact the will of themselves instead of the will of the people. And, of course, I'm being a bit of a dick, I know. It should also be noted those 3 weeks that people are claiming he's prorogued Parliament for are typically weeks that are given for the Liberal Democrats, Labour and Conservative Party conferences. This means that those pro-Remain MPs have 2 weeks less in Parliament to pass anti-no deal legislation. Boris has claimed that the decision is not to block his Brexit plans, since he was accused of mounting a coup against the Parliament. Many questions have been asked about prorogation. Can MPs vote against it? No, they really can't. Also, how does the Privy Council fit into this? Because the Privy Council was mentioned on the letter that said that Parliament would be suspended. The request to the Queen and the proposed timetable is made at a Privy Council meeting in Balmoral by a very small number of senior ministers. Technically, opposition MPs are members of the council, but these members don't actually go to the meeting. The person who selects those people is actually Jacob Rees-Mogg, who is Lord President of the Privy Council. As far as affecting plans to stop no deal goes, there are other options. Labour believe they have their ace in the hole, the nuclear option, and that's an air-quoted nuclear option, of an immediate no-confidence vote, because the window for passing legislation to prevent no deal has become narrower. Now, at those meetings, all the MPs there agreed the legislative route was the way to go. What I find fascinating is when a number of them were interviewed by Channel 4, link video below, they all indicated they wanted that instead of the no-confidence vote because they don't want Jeremy Corbyn in charge. They're all forgetting what will happen if you intentionally seek to remove somebody who is trying to enact the will of the people, to then install another person or force a general election, which won't happen anyway until after anyway. Seriously, it's hilarious that you think your no-confidence vote is the nuclear option. There I was thinking you'd riot. If you did though, let's hypothetically say you did, the following will happen. A general election will happen, and the majority of the 160 MPs will lose their seats to the Brexit party. You cannot keep betraying the people, because then the people will turn against you. You are doing everything you can to prevent a, quotes, damaging no deal, because you refuse to be optimistic about the opportunities that we could have if we tried, because you are all sheltered. You are all protected little insulated muppet. And I say muppet because there are strings involved, and each one of you has them pulled. You are national embarrassment. Your legacy will be that you claim to do what's right for the people, believing you are better than the people. I don't agree with prorogation for the additional 2 weeks. While he is entitled to it because of the Queen's speech and ceremony, I do think it is a bit unnecessary for it to be the full 2 weeks. But when he's up against people like you, who are seeking to solely prevent the will of the people being enacted under the guise of, well, you didn't vote on the terms. Right, I'm done explaining how leave doesn't mean remain. You guys are an absolute joke. What I found truly fascinating about all of this, through the plethora of articles covering this subject, was that the one good article that gave solid information, the one that actually gave people what they needed, was written by The Guardian.